Bilinguals of Reddit. What's your "they didn't know I spoke their language" story? This happened to my brother and father while they were traveling. Some dude walks up to my brother thinking he is a local and starts talking to him in Farsi. When he realized my brother didn't understand, started saying really rude things about him and my dad being stupid. My dad, fluent in Farsi, comes over and rips this asshole a second one. The dude feigned being apologetic and made excuses for his attitude. As he was walking away, he started muttering more foul things about them, but in Turkish this time. Dad speaks Turkish as well and proceeds to rip him a third asshole. TLDR. There is a man with 3 assholes. I was on a tour bus with my grandmother going to a luau in Hawaii. My grandmother spoke fluent Italian as both her parents were Italian immigrants. 2 young women behind us were speaking to each other in Italian, probably assuming none of the other tourists could understand them. My grandmother told me, I don't speak but a few words in Italian, that they were insulting everyone on the bus. She let it go on a while, but just kept getting angrier and angrier as the ride went on. Finally, she turned around and told them off, telling them they should be ashamed of themselves for being so rude. They looked so embarrassed and apologized to her profusely. Getting told off by a grandmother on a tour bus was not what they expected. Hearing girl here. I was looking for something in Target and asked an employee for help. She was busy stocking shelves and I kept trying to verbally get her attention. When she finally noticed me, she mouthed, "I'm deaf." I set my stuff down to free up my hands, introduced myself, and asked her where what I was looking for was in American Sign Language. Her face completely lit up, and I'll never forget it. Communication is major for deaf people because they are unfortunately often excluded from the hearing world, which is probably why this lady reacted the way she did. Though this was minor, it made a huge impact on me. This instance made me fall in love with sign language all over again, and realize how communication is a basic human right that many people do not have, or have limited access to. Was in Germany, and a middle school teacher asked me to come in as a guest for one of her English classes. The teacher introduced me, I said hello and that I was from the US and happy to be in their class. The teacher said, "So do you have any questions in English for an American? What do you think an American is like?" One of the kids near the front says in German, kind of under his breath but definitely loud enough that most of the class can hear, "Fat and stupid." The kids laugh. The teacher turns bright red. I don't know what to do, so I just say, "Of course many Americans can speak German," in German. The kid almost shit himself. He looked like a baby deer that had wandered on stage at a Beyoncé concert. I thought he was just being a dick and had intended me to understand what he was saying. Apparently, though, he actually hadn't thought through that an American in Germany in their language class might actually speak their language. I'm fluent in Spanish and was in a bank line in Lima, the capital of a South American city, and these 2 early middle-aged women were in front of me, have a mostly quiet chat. One was telling the other about this new young guy at work. She was banging and describing all the crazy sex they were having, going into detail about all sorts of stuff. The other wanted to know what he looked like, and she was kind of describing him badly. And she kind of did a sly look around the bank, waited a few seconds and said in Spanish, "He looks like this guy behind us, but with blonde hair, much better looking and a much better dresser." She did a good job of not gesturing towards me when she said it, but it didn't stop me from hearing it. So she goes back to discussing details about hooking up with him at work, and they don't notice the line has moved. And so without a warning throat clear, I just say, "We all love the details back here, but can you move forward?" She went white as a ghost, and they didn't really talk for the rest of the wait. It was hilarious, edit. Me can't write good. The people at the Chinese food place on my campus spoke Chinese to the door exchange students. But even though I spoke Chinese, I just always spoke English to them since I have an accent when I speak Chinese. But one day I got all meat, no rice since I had a rice maker at home. And when I was paying, the lady says to the person beside her, "Fat ass wants meat, no rice." And I responded in Chinese, "Actually, I have rice at home." They didn't charge me for the order and started giving me a bit extra whenever I go there. Edit. Didn't see all the replies, but everyone saying they probably weren't saying it in an insulting way is correct. They were saying fat ass, more along the lines of fatty or tubby. Ponzi, I think that's the phonetic spelling of what they said. Not really sure how to spell it. TB. A lady on the bus was being a bitch and slagging people off in Greek until she got to me. She was being excessively nasty about my chipped nail varnish. I don't know either. Maybe she was having a bad day. As soon as I clocked it, I turned around and looked her dead in the eye with my very Greek face, and she stopped. She then sat in the seat in front of me where I sat and called my mom, also Greek, who I had a conversation with for the duration of the bus journey about the rude lady who slagged my nails off because she thought I couldn't understand. In Greek. It was delicious. We had a large family reunion dinner at a restaurant, and we were all sharing stories. My funny uncle was telling us how he used to pretend he was deaf and his sister would translate. To prove it, he asked the waitress to get the manager. When he came over, my uncle started signing to him with made-up and exaggerated gestures. My aunt told him that the food was good and the server was excellent. All the while, the manager just smiled and nodded. When they were done talking, the manager said in sign language, he spoke ASL and knew it was bullshit. We blew up laughing, and my uncle's face turned beet red. I was in a hotel elevator with my wife in Osaka, Japan, the Miyako Marriott to exact. It is a popular hotel for tourists. We were going up the elevator to our room on the 54th floor. It's a high hotel. In the elevator with us is a Chinese family that speaks Cantonese. They must have assumed we were Japanese or some other type of Asian, because they started to tease their preteen daughter about how badly she needed to take a shit. They were laughing, and the mother was teasing her about how, I can almost see it coming out. Our floor came first, and when it did, I turned to them and said, good night, in Cantonese. Their face was priceless, and we got out of the elevator. My wife called me a jackass while laughing her ass off. Then we got back to our rooms and took a shit too. Cable guy here. Being a white guy, most people don't realize that I know how to speak and write in Spanish. I run into so many situations where I can run under the radar and just do my job without someone knowing that I can understand them completely. Every once in a while, I subtly let them know that I can understand them. I was doing an installation at a house where the family only spoke Spanish, and the order requested for a Spanish-speaking tech. I showed up to the door, the husband opened the door, and automatically assumed that I couldn't speak Spanish. His English was near perfect, and he greeted me, showed me around and where he wanted everything. He let me do my work as he walked into the other room where his buddy was and automatically started talking shit about me. I can't believe they sent a fucking white guy who can't speak Spanish. I specifically told them to send someone who can speak Spanish so I didn't have to deal with this bullshit. He's going to be lazy as fuck and not do the job right. I bet the asshole is going to expect a tip after doing a shitty job, and I'll have to fix it myself. The dude went on and on the entire time I was there, talking shit the entire time. At the end of the appointment, I was pissed. I didn't show it, but he thought it was funny to talk shit in front of me, smile on his face while acting like he wasn't saying anything about me. So I looked at him, told him in Spanish, your installation is done. If you have any questions, you can call the company yourself, and they'll be able to get someone who speaks Spanish to help you. He looked at me with a shocked expression, so I continued. Next time you should ask if the person can speak Spanish before talking shit. His buddy hit the floor laughing as I left the customer standing there feeling like a jackass. When I was teaching kids in Japan, I would only respond with English only to their Japanese. I did this for a few reasons. To make them think I didn't speak Japanese, to make them use English more, so I could scare the crap out of them once I decided to speak Japanese. Some kid in English school didn't do his homework. When I asked him for it, he told me in English that he forgot his book. He then turns to his classmate and says in Japanese that his book is in his bag, and he didn't do his homework because he couldn't be bothered. I said nothing. Come the end of the class, his mother is waiting in the reception, along with my Japanese manager, so I tell the manager in English that he didn't do his homework. I hear the conversation between kid and mom, with him giving the same forgot bullshit. So I just say in perfect Japanese, why are you saying you forgot the book? When I asked you in the class, you told the other student that it's in your bag and you didn't do the homework because you couldn't be bothered. I'm sorry, didn't you know that I could understand Japanese? Mom opens the bag, finds the book, smacks the kid in the head with the book and tells him to sit in the reception doing his homework. Kid cries. All is good. When I was stationed in Korea, I was getting a haircut, and the hairdresser had like an assistant or a new person helping her get me seated and prepared. She says to the main girl, he looks like a baby. I have a baby face and was like 22 at the time. I responded in Korean with, I look like a baby? She was really startled and embarrassed and noped out of there for the rest of the haircut. The main hairdresser took advantage of being able to talk with me in Korean though. Edit, added a letter. My family and I went to Sri Lanka for 2 weeks to see where my mom grew up and general beach stuff. For some reason, we were like the only people in the hotel we were staying at, aside from a wedding party that left a day after we got there. A few days in there was another family staying there, I believe from Suriname, and we were all chilling at the pool and decided to play a game of water polo against each other. Things got exciting and one of the daughters yelled out something in Dutch like, "Go for the big fat guy?" My Dutch dad replied, "What big fat guy?" And everybody laughed. Just a simple story, but it was pretty sweet. Share your opinion in the comments and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss more stories.